is.
I like it. I like it.
Gentlemen, ladies, welcome to the Brothers of Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage and inspire and add value to Black men in the areas of life, leadership, and community. We got 5 brothers tapped in, relevant topics discussed thoughtfully with candor and care. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Ian Williams, the Purpose Coach. As we get started today, I just wanted to share my heart for the Brothers of Influence podcast. My personal growth and leadership journey simply started because I recognized what I call a leadership deficit. I recognized this lack of leadership in my home, in my community, at work, at church, and especially in myself. And let me tell you, whether a person realizes it or not, the absence of leadership creates a profound vacuum that very few of us escape from. This has led me to where we are today, having benefited from a personal commitment to growth and leadership development. Listen, I don't have it all figured out, but what I realize is that just as there is room for all of us to grow, there is room for us to stand up, occupy our own space, and grow into the leaders we were created to be. Again, my name is Ian, your Purpose Coach. You can find me on Twitter at Son of the King 02, Son of the King, at Son of the King 02, and the home team, meaning my family, on Instagram at Team Reconcile. I'm excited because this journey has led me to connect with other like-minded brothers who are carrying a similar, what we call burden of purpose. 3 of whom I am privileged to say are on this episode with me today. And without further ado, I want my brothers to introduce themselves.
Hey, all right, cool. Thank you, Ian, man. Again, appreciate the opportunity to be on here with you, to be a part of this brotherhood of influence, man. So, hey, I'm Sherrod Ledet. I am your leadership locksmith. I am focused on personal and leadership development. I use a framework called value keys. I use these keys to help you identify and just get clearer and understanding on your leadership potential and capability, right? Those 4 keys are knowledge, exposure, your potential, and then we build in systems in the back end. I would love just again the opportunity to connect with anybody, as we continue to go through this. So, hey, that's me. Hey, Shantae, what you got?
Hey, Shawtae Price here, entrepreneur, leadership, and financial coach. You can find me with my name, Shawtae Price, on all social media networks. Glad to be here with these group of men. We're here to add value to everyone who comes across this podcast. And if there's something significant for you, we just hope that you would share it back with us. Let us know we've blessed you. Lorenzo.
Wow, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm the guy with the camera issues today, but I'm Lorenzo Daughtry Chambers. Win with Lorenzo. My whole thing is helping people win, move into their greatness, move into their passion. So, guys, I'm excited to be here with y'all and to dive right into our subject. And I'll be in the background. I'm seeing this delay that's going on with my camera and everything. So I'll adjust that and I'll be right back.
All right, fellas. And today we are discussing an important topic to all of us, right? What we call success versus significance. And what we want to do as we start this conversation is simple. We just need to define it. What do we mean? What does the Brothers in Influence podcast mean when we say success versus significance?
Success versus significance, right? It's funny because, again, 3 of us right now, being a part of the John Maxwell, right? He talks about that success versus significance. And when we were preparing for this, or me preparing for this, I went to Webster. Hey, we're talking about definitions. Let's get the actual definition. What does that mean? But in its generality, man, the reality of it is success is really personal, right? It's all about consuming information and knowledge for your own personal benefit. Whereas significance, right, is the complete opposite. It's gaining the same knowledge and information or becoming better, but for the benefit of others. right? So that's the difference between the two in a nutshell, right? That it's success happens to you, significance happens through you.
Wow.
That's good. That's good. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Of course, as a fellow JMT John Maxwell team member, but it's also bigger than that, right? I think that the reason that we find ourselves drawn to this idea is because it connected with us somewhere personally, deep down in who we are, who we believe that we were created to be. I mean, we all know a lot of people who believe that they are successful because they have everything they want, or they're working towards, or they're moving towards getting everything they want. And in that sense, like Sherrod said, they have added value to themselves, right? But what we believe, and I think what Sherrod is basically saying, is that significance comes when you add value to others, and you can't have true success without it.
Right.
The beautiful thing about the significance journey is that both can happen. You can work towards the things that you want, but you're also not just focused on yourself, right? You're adding value to others and helping them get what they want as well.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm gonna jump back in. You know me. I know. Forgive me, but hey, just so let's just even think about it, right? Success, right? That's one of those things, especially nowadays, man. It's one of those things that's talked about so much, right? But it's talked about so much, but it's never really given any clarity from the perspective of really the only person who can truly define success is you, right? What does success look like for you, right? Because the way you define success for yourself will allow you to define what significance looks like for you as well. Because again, it goes hand in hand. Again, success is something that you achieve, right? You go after, and whatever that looks like for you. But in that journey to success, you then find your ability to add significance to others because of the value that you added to yourself, right? And then that's the significance I think that comes from that journey and that pursuit of success. But the number one thing that I think we have to know and understand in defining it, that success is not you can't let other people define it for you. You got to define it for yourself, right? And then be open to that, right? And whatever that journey and wherever it leads you. And that definition, I think you got to be open to allow it to grow, right? Don't lock it in and say that it's one definition or this is what it is. Don't put it in a box, because I think you're just going to change yourself, and then you're not going to be able to reach your full potential when it comes to your level of success.
Wow.
You know, I love that so much, because so many people allow other people to define success for them, right? So many people are climbing a mountain that's not their mountain to climb, and then they get towards the peak or the top of the mountain, and then they get to the end and they're frustrated, right? Because they're climbing a mountain that someone else has said dictates and indicates success. That's so powerful.
That's good. That's good.
What you got, Shante? I see you down there. Oh, you're on mute, brother.
You unmuted. Let's go.
So what I thought it was I thought success and significant was me having things, having that car, having the money, and even at one point having any other women I could have, right? And so I thought that was success, which in turn I thought that made me significant, right? But it's not true, because it didn't bring any of them things. I wasn't any happier. I'm steady chasing after the same things. Even when you get it, you're still chasing after it, right? I tell people all the time, a lot of times what you're chasing after just becomes an addiction. It ain't even about that thing anymore, right? So if you're chasing after money and you get money and you're still just chasing after money, it's really addiction to that lifestyle of you chasing after these things, you know. But now I understand that, as Sherrod said on his second part, is that I know that I'm significant, period, right? I believe I'm significant. My significance has nothing to do with anyone else. And so now, as I start the journey of success, that's taken out of the equation, so that now I can say, okay, now what do I want to do, or who do I want to be? And am I going to be successful just because I'm doing it, or am I going to be successful because of the end thing I want? And I figured out that just by me starting the journey to say that I started my business, I'm successful. I see that as being successful, because the hardest part of starting a business is stepping over that line and starting it. And you ask most people, they're going to tell you that, right? So,
Yep. And again, I told you guys, he does what? He throw lobs. And he threw 2 of them, right? I don't know how you even did that at the same time. 2 lobs at one time. That's talent, brother. You said, as a man, right? We can't just skip over that, right? Because as men, I think our level and our definition of success is completely different than that of women. And then let's even put it in its complete totality of roles, right? A man, a husband, and a father. Our success, that definition of success, is different, right? It's completely different, right? And then I love the fact that he even brought up again kind of that starting point, right? Here's the reality. Success is the stepping stone to significance. It's a stepping stone, right? And when we identify with that and we understand that, again, success is just all about how we understand and what it is that we're looking to achieve. And also let's not skip the fact that success is really attached to goals.
Yes.
Right? It's attached to goals, right? The reality of it is life and what we're doing and everything that we're achieving, and when it comes to success and significance, is all attached to goals, right? Knowing and understanding where we're going and what we're trying to achieve, right? I think I'm moving past this difference and the definition. I think we're moving on maybe into a different part of some of the questioning, but I just wanted to drop that. But again, it's he just said something that was very relevant, right? That again, as men, and I think that's very important that we understand that again, for as men, success is going to look different for us. Not to, put a gender or anything in it. I'm just saying, because of our role, it's going to look different.
As men, as husbands, as fathers, as leaders, we're in this discussion, in this conversation around success versus significance. I postulate and submit that one isn't necessarily better than the others depending on what you're looking for. So in my mind, it stands out. And as I'm just thinking about this conversation, there's something about success in my mind that stands out as being maybe a little bit more individually focused, whereas significance points towards impact. Significance points towards how am I helping someone else in their life? How am I looking at legacy? Whereas success might say and might speak to personal achievement, more inner achievement, and neither of them in and of themselves are wrong. I think what I'm getting to is that we have to have success and significance, because we can't be significant without success. But when we are successful, it would bring us significance. It's a dance. They relate to each other, but they're separate depending on what your point and place of emphasis is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Now, I definitely agree with what you're saying there, Lorenzo. But I almost think that when you're pursuing significance, success is the undercurrent. It's almost like the fruit.
Wow. I like that.
Right? It's the fruit. You're going to get it. But people don't realize that it's that you positioning yourself better by not just focusing on you. And it can be that simple. Society, culture, everything we know about what it looks like to be, to have something tells us we need to focus on ourselves, focus on what we want, go get it because nobody else will get it for us.
Yeah. And
to a certain degree, that's true. I mean, we not everything in society is built so that we can feel good about what we're doing and where we're going. But if you're pursuing significance, it won't matter. You kind of going against you're going against the grain of what we're traditionally taught, but what you're doing is tapping into a place inside of you that helps you put you on a path to discover purpose.
Purpose, there it is,
and your maximum potential.
Yeah, there it is. Success, significance, and purpose.
As you were talking, and I shall tell you, I know you're gonna jump in here, but there's this quote, Ian, that says, "A rising tide raises all boats." And so what I'm hearing in that is that the Significance is the rising tide, and the success represents the boats. That if and when we pursue significance, the success
Mm.
will come.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the other issue with that is, or that could arise with a person being able to balance out the two, right? Is that your significance should be, there should be a foundation of your significance, right? I believe so. So, and what is that? There's your values. I think that's I think too often that's why people get off with that success trip. I got to do this or I got to have this to demonstrate success, because too often we tweak our values because it's something we want, instead of holding fast and believing that, guess what, if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm doing everything I need to do to get to where I'm going, if I have this vision and I've got a plan and I'm working the plan, I'm going to, if the plan says I'm going to get to where I need to be, hold fast to your values. And I think that's what throws people off a lot of time, because it's so easy to be on this side of the fence and say that if I just dip my toe on the other side, I can get that thing now. But there's
Right.
nothing like getting it when you need, when you're supposed to get it.
right.
Brother,
Yeah.
can I just hammer home what I got out of what you said? People that are watching and listening, and if you're with us on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, please share this with someone so that you can get out into the conversation. But what Shante just said is that many people don't believe that if they do the right things won't come. I'm paraphrasing. And what I took away from that is, listen, have faith that if you continue to do the right things, put yourself in the right positions, good things are going to happen. Good things are going to manifest to you, and hold the line. Don't look at the grass being greener on the other side, but stay on your path, stay on your vision, and good things will happen. That's what I got. You just dropped that in there on the Shante, and I just had to, really hammer that home because that was powerful.
Yeah, he dunked that one, and I love it because, again, and I just love this conversation, and we're in sync, right? Because one of the things I was going to bring up was that, again, significance is also puts us in or takes us out of our comfort zone, right? It takes us out of our comfort zone. But based on what you just dropped, Lorenzo, right? That, again, right, staying true to our values, right? That also puts us outside of our comfort zone sometimes, right? Because we feel as if we have to make adjustments. We feel we gotta change, right? Ooh. Hey, this just came to me, right? I was watching. So my daughter, she's 10. We was watching. It's called Zombies or something. I don't know, some Disney musical. Don't judge me. She's 10. She wanted to watch.
We got Frozen, and
right? So we was watching it, right? But it was interesting because it was zombies, right? And then it was normal people, right? And in this, they were coming together, right? They were after whatever a long time, but there was a statement that was significant in there that I think is very valid now, and it talked about, again, change. Right. It talked about change. And it said that, again, the zombies were making changes so they could fit in with, right, the regular people. But then within the regular people, there were people that didn't feel like they fit in, and they felt just alienated because of the zombies. Right. And the statement that was made was like this. It said, well, why do we have to make these changes in order to feel like we need to fit in? Right. And they felt uncomfortable about the changes they were making because they didn't feel true to who they truly were. So what I'm trying to say is that with success and significance, right, that true value that Shante was talking about, and then just what Lorenzo had just said, that, again, sometimes we misunderstand that discomfort that we have, and we think that we're being stretched when really, actually, we're supposed to come in and get more focused.
Call to
and stay
stay
true.
Yes.
Exactly. Stay true to who we are instead of expanding outside of our values. Hopefully that made sense.
Bro, you got me so hyped, because what you're saying is we're stand in a place where it is most uncomfortable. And often the thing that makes you most uncomfortable, the place and the issues that give you the most pause are the issues you're supposed to speak to and deal with. Sherrod, I started to think about the story of David, King David, right? And Goliath. And everyone knows the story of David and Goliath, and David volunteered to go and to face this Philistine army and go up against Goliath. But what is significant about that story is that they tried to give David Saul's armor, right? They tried to give David someone else's armor to work with, and he tried it on. He said, yo, this isn't going to work for me. He tried on someone else's values, someone else's way of being, and he said this isn't going to work. And it was when he stayed true to himself that he was able to accomplish the task. He said, I have these smooth stones. I've been through the fire with these stones. I've prepared with these stones. I know how to work with this. I don't know how to work with this, but everyone's telling me this is what I need to work with. But this is what God has given me. David took what God gave him, and he was able to accomplish the task, but he wouldn't have been able to if he didn't stay on his point. That's what I'm hearing as you were just sharing there. I think about that story because David was the only one that could smite Goliath, right? Because of him staying true to himself.
Yeah. And I love that. And again, y'all let us dialogue, but I'm going right back to Ian and I'm done, right? Because he made a point too. He said that again, even in our pursuit of significance, it's also our ability to reach our full potential, right? And to your point, Lorenzo, of the story of David and Goliath, right? Again, he had all that armor on and all that didn't match him, right? Which again would have hindered his potential of actually using those stones.
Yes.
Right? Because it was too big, it was too bulky. He couldn't operate with that. Right? So again, that's what? So I tell you,
this is what they trying to put on you.
Everybody.
This is what the group and your network is trying to put on. This is what your family and your friends are trying to put. This is what your church is trying to put on you. And God, what did I put on you? Go ahead.
What your parents are trying to put on you.
Yeah. So your significance will how you view your significance will lead you to your success.
Okay.
Only if you cultivate it with the tools you have. So when I say that is a few of us are DIS certified, right? And when we do DIS, we don't tell people to focus on like I'm a C. So I'm not gonna tell if I meet a person that's a D, I'm not gonna tell them to focus on if they're a DI, a CS.
All right, you gotta
focus on
explain
your strength and cultivate those things so that you could be the best you could be. Too often in life, what do? We focus on the minimal things or the minimum strength that we have instead of focus on your strength. Because if you focus on your strength, if you work your strengths on your journey to success, right? If you work your strengths, those other things they have to rise with you, right? If I'm a weak manager, I need to hire somebody to do that. But by me hiring someone to do those things, I should be observing what they're doing and learning how to do it at the same time, right? That don't mean I'm going to be a great manager or anything, but I should be better than I was. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. So when you talking about me taking my significance and saying I want to be successful, I need to focus on those things that I know I'm strong at and move forward. But too often we just focus on the things that are not strengths for us. So
wow, man, this is so good, man. I feel like we eating. This is like a whole full course, maybe even a buffet meal. We getting on this podcast tonight. Listen, if you're tuned in with us right now, hold on. If you're tuned in with us right now, you may have never heard a conversation like this before. And I'm saying this because if that's true for you, I'm honest. If I'm honest, it was true for me at one point. I didn't understand the difference between success and significance. And what I will tell you from my experience in pursuit of this is that it's a journey and it takes time. And you know what's amazing about it is it doesn't matter how far you've come or how long you've been in the game or whatever, how you've been operating up until this point. You can start this journey right now. You can choose to not just pursue success, but significance, to add value to others, to determine and identify, to figure out or discover your purpose, right? That is it's a process, right? And all of us, it's what's amazing is I'm fortunate to be flanked by these amazing leaders, these other brothers on this episode today, because we can all help you through that process. We can help you through the process of discovering your purpose. And it's not about leading you anywhere, but it's about walking with you on this journey, knowing that you are not alone. Because Brothers in Influence is all about community. We want to link up with other brothers like us, whether you're just getting started or you're already on the journey, walk shoulder to shoulder with you, so that we can all reach our maximum potential, right? So the water rises under us all, and the boat rises along with it. The success and the significance. We want to help you be the version of you that you were created to be, whether you know what that is right now or not. Again, we can help. It's a journey, and this is a personal invitation, right? Okay, so listen, I love what all of my brothers are sharing. Like I said, this is like a buffet meal. We talked about success. It's like a stepping stone to significance. On your way, we are here. This is like a divine intervention. It's like a divine. If you're on it, I will go so far as to say, if you're on this episode today, if you happen to hear this, this is like a divine intervention. This is an opportunity for you to diverge from the current path that you're on, or it's an opportunity for you to increase the gas, to go from regular 85 gas to diesel, because we're ready to turn up, right, and change the game. And what is really amazing is when you really get it, when you really understand it, it changes everything in every area of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're trying to come up as an employee working for somebody, or you're trying to start your own business, or if you're just simply trying to be a better father, a better husband, and even break it down further, a better man, right? A better brother, a better son, a better family member, cousin, whatever the case may be, a better neighbor. The significance journey affects it all. And so again, this is just an invitation. And as we continue to eat, listen, jump in the chat. Let us know what you're hearing. Let us know what's coming to you. Throw some questions in there. Throw some comments. Listen, we want to engage, because this is not just about us. We're letting you in on our conversation, and we know that we're eating, but we want to know you're eating too. So feel free to jump in.
So in the spirit of community, I do want to take us back just a second, Shante. You and I was trying to jump in. Y'all with me and told me to hold on. Kept talking over me. I'm not skipping over that because I'm a real dude.
Come through.
So the thing is, you were mentioning lingo and language that everybody wasn't familiar with. You guys are John Maxwell certified coaches.
Yeah.
I think it provides tremendous value for our audience members, Shante, for you to actually like really through that. Like, don't skip over it, because everybody doesn't know what you're talking about. That piece around finding people that complement your skill set, I think, is where you were getting to. So if you could explain to our audience and walk us through, what are you talking about?
Okay, so the DISC assessment, it's a personality assessment, behavioral personality assessment, and basically DISC, it's DISC. So you got the D is usually a person they call it dominant, or the driver. That person, he wants to be in control, wants to be uh, uh, you know he's ambitious. He's usually that leader, that one that's gun ho. Uh, and then when you talk about the I, it's influencing, like someone that's that I style. A lot of times the I style is a person like that's the life of the party type of person. The person that's throwing parties, or like the influencers, what they call influencers on social media. That type of individual, they want that recognition. That's that type of individual. Then you have what they call steady, right? The steady person. They're stable. They don't really. They're not gonna buck against the system. They're just kind of like straightforward, I would say. and that's the S, and then the C, which is me. I'm a CS. They're compliant. They follow the rules. They if like I tell, like if you ask me to do something, I might ask you, okay, what exactly do you want me to do? So, because you could just say, go wash the car. Man, I'll throw some water on that thing. It'd be done with, right? I ain't putting no soap or nothing. So I'm the type of person to see is I'll ask you, what exactly do you want me to do? Because that's why I want to do it right the first time, and that's it. So that's the disc personality style. There's a whole lot more information, and like I say, it revolutionized my life, and that's why I end up becoming certified in it, because a lot of times we know how we are, but other people tell us about who we are, and we're like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. This will help you see what the other people are saying and how true it is.
And so, where can we find this? And then I'm gonna shut up. Where can we find this?
You can reach out to me. Like I say, Shawtate Price on all social media, or one of the other brothers, brother Sherrod, or we all well, us three. We gonna pull you over too, though. But me, Sherrod, and Ian, we're part, like we said earlier, we're part of John Maxwell team, and we've all been certified through them to be able to give the assessment.
Yeah, y'all gotta bring us along on the bus. Y'all know y'all have all of these tools and these keys, and y'all one of the things I admire, and I promise y'all I'm gonna shut up. One of the things I really admire about you guys, Mike, I admire that you guys have these tools, these keys, and I just feel like, guys, it would be so valuable. Like, I think there were some folks that got something out of dominant, driven, directing, influencing folks, the life of the party type folks. S, steadiness and stable. C, compliant and conscientious. Like, knowing these things about ourselves helps us move into the world. So definitely contact these guys and get that information. Thank you so much. I know took us all the way back, and now we got to go.
That's good. And we actually have somebody real close in the pipeline. We plan on showing some more information and having them being able to share on the podcast. They just don't know yet.
Listen, that was a perfect segue, Lorenzo, because when we talk about success to significance being a journey, one of the better ways that I can personally recommend on how to start it is with a DISC assessment, behavioral analysis. One of the laws of growth that we talk about, that we really try to live out, is you have to know yourself to grow yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to know yourself to grow yourself. And DISC in itself, we usually, like if we're in corporate spaces, we'll talk about it like a communication tool to help teams really connect and be able to know how to relate to each other, how to communicate to each other. It tells you things like how you like to be communicated to, how you don't like to be communicated to. There's so many of us going through life, and we're just living life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are things that really bother us, and we don't even realize it. We just get angry, or we respond, we react. But if you really understand what your triggers are, like I don't, as a C personality, which is what I am, a CS personality, I don't like pushy people. So I know if I'm working with a pushy person, I either need to move somewhere else to another space, or I can put in the effort if I care, if I'm connected, if there's some relationship there, I put in the effort to add a little extra layer of grace, or a whole lot of extra grace, actually. So that the connection can happen. Now, if I don't know that, then what my personality may do is just cause me to avoid, and then I'd miss the opportunity to connect.
Right.
And so this makes a difference, right? And when we're talking about significance and adding value to others, we cut our own feet out from under us because we don't really have a good understanding of who we are and how we are wired. And this things like this behavioral analysis assessment puts you in a position, it empowers you so that you can connect no matter the circumstance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful, man. And I'm glad you went that way, because I'm just going to kind of piggyback off that, right? So it's interesting because, again, we said that success, or I even kind of mentioned that success happens to you. But again, the best way to do that, right, is through, again, self-awareness, right? That's what the DISC does. Now for those who know what DISC is that are out there and listening, they know DISC. They probably are even certified in giving the DISC. And here's the reality. There are other assessments out there. So we're not just saying just use the DISC and it's the only one, but we are saying the assessment itself, that's the value, right? That's the value, right? You talked about the dominant, the influence, the steadiness, and the compliancy, right? Now, I've been certified in actually in another way of looking at it too, that I think is very valuable from this perspective. And this is what I've been talking about a lot lately, right? And here's the reality. It's so DISC, it's about making decisions, interacting with people, your environment, right? And then standards and protocols. Okay. Because here's the reality. This is what I can tell you that I know for a fact that we do every day. We make a decision, we interact with people, we move in and out of the environments, right? And we're operating within some type of standard or protocol. We do that every day. But in order for us to be successful, right, and to add significance, we need to know how we make decisions, how we interact with people, what type of environments are we moving in, what environments are successful or conducive for our strengths.
Yeah.
Right. And then again, standards and protocols, right? What are those things? How do I operate? What are those values? Right? What are those standards? Right? Shantae mentioned something, so I'm gonna kind of jump back a little bit. That he said something that I think that we also got to pay attention to, and I think it's very important when we talk about this is tools. What tools do you have? So let me ask you a couple questions. What tools do you have? How are you using those tools? How do you see those tools? How do you understand those tools? Guess what? DISC assessment, it'll help you do that. It'll help you get a little bit more clarity, right? It's not going to tell you how you are, what it's just going to give you, again, another value added tool so you can be successful and significant. So, and I'm going to jump kind of, and forgive me guys, y'all know how I do, right? So there's a couple of different areas that I think we need to talk about, you know, as we're kind of coming to the end of this. I don't know where we're at, but I think there's 5 different areas that I think we need to talk about when it comes to success and significant. Motives, influence, time, focus, and reward.
Yep.
Right? So when I think about success and significance from a motive standpoint, right, that success, again, can look at it from the perspective of, again, it's about what I'm getting, whereas significance is about how can I motivate other people. So motivation from a success standpoint, motivating myself, right? But significance is about gaining the information, the knowledge, the tools, so I can then motivate other people and add significance to them. From an influence standpoint, with success, influence is limited, right? Because again, you're influencing yourself. But from a significance standpoint, influence is unlimited. Why? Because it's now all about what I'm giving to other people. It's about my ability to lead, right? And to influence, right? Life, leadership, and community, right? All that comes into play, right? So even when we think about success and significance, how does that play in life? How does that play in leadership? How does that play in community? That's what we're talking about here. So, and then time. So success in general, right? It can last a lifetime, but significance, it can last a generation, right? It can surpass time.
Come on now, Sherrod.
It can surpass time, right?
Yeah.
So success again ends. Oh, wow. Success ends for you. Significance starts with what you leave. Right. So again, that legacy component, right? That's where significance is, right? From a time perspective. Then from focus is about how can I add value to myself from a success standpoint. But significance is how do I add value to other people, right? And then the last thing is reward. If I pursue success, then I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. But from a reward standpoint for significance, if I'm giving to other people, then the reward is to them, not for me. I'm done.
Wow.
To drop that quick little thing.
That's good. That's good. So basically, man, listen, DISC assessments open all of it up for you. It can help. It can help kickstart the journey, and any one of us can really coach you through the process. As a matter of fact, I really recommend it. You can get a DISC assessment, but if you have someone to partner with you, to connect with you, to help you understand yourself, it really opens it up even further. We talking about like nitroglycerin versus just petrol.
Ian, let me ask you this, bro. Do you think it's possible to achieve the level of significance that Sherrod is talking about without these kinds of tools and assessments? Or are these, I think what I'm getting is that these tools and assessments are like absolutely necessary to get people into the next place. What do you think about that?
Man. Whew. What you have to do is you have to commit to being a student of yourself.
Mhm.
And this is one of many, and this is one that the difference between with this specifically is 3 out of 4 of us can personally vouch for it, right? Like Sherrod said, there are other tools out there, but man, this gives you a head start, right? If you have the right tools, right? If you're trying to dig a ditch and you have a shovel, you could probably make some progress. But if you're just using your hands, it's gonna be a struggle. Everybody, you can tell the difference between getting the dirt under your nails and trying to dig with your paws, man. There's a difference between having and having a shovel. And I would say that disc is like a shovel.
Yeah, I like that. And to Lorenzo's point, right? Can you reach a level of success without the tool? Absolutely. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you reach a level of significance without the tool? Absolutely.
Yep.
But don't miss what I said though. Right? Can you reach a level? Absolutely. Right? It's a level. Right? Here's the reality. We go through many levels, and I'll just be all the way real, and I'll go be transparent and put my age out there too. I'm 41, right? Feeling good about it though. I'm 41, going strong.
Brother. Looking good.
But here's my point, right? Basically, I was born, and when I got to 10, guess what? The clock restarted because I went back to 11.
Mm.
And then I went all the way to 20. Guess what? Then it restarted again, and I went back to 21. Went all the way to 30, got another reset, and you see what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to this thing. So what I'm saying is, and to your point, that again, depending on what level you want, depends on what tools and what knowledge, what information, what you're going to get in order to achieve the level of success that you're looking for, right? And that's what it's all about. Until you drop so much stuff in that first one, right? About the tools, right? Here's the reality. A tool is only good or as good as the person using it.
Yeah, Baba. Yeah, that's good.
Right. So if you gave me a scalpel, I'm not going to be very good with that. Now I might be able to cut you. Yeah, I'm going to cut you, but it's no good, right? I don't have the right tool. But you give me the disc, hey, I got you, right? You give me a pen, I got you. You say you want to talk about leadership, I got you, right? You say let's write a book, hey, I'm in there, right? Those are tools, right? I understand who I am and what I'm doing. So the tools are only as good as the person willing them, right? But then we also got to sharpen our tool. We got to see the diversity of the tool. We got to understand the tool. We got to see its capability, right? But identifying the capability of the tool means that I have to identify my capability with the tool. What can I do with it?
Yeah.
How can I use it?
Jeez.
Right? A pen, what does a pen do? It writes, right? It can write a sentence. It can write a paragraph. It can write a letter. Mm-hmm. It can write a story. It can write a book. It just depends on the person holding the pen. It's a tool. I'm done. Y'all keep getting me going.
And I know we got to move, bro, and I'm passing it right back to you. But I feel such an opportunity here for somebody that's listening. And I feel like I can say this because I'm not a Maxwell guy. But if you're listening right now and you haven't done any of these assessments, I want to really encourage you. It's 4 of us. It's 3 of them that are training assessments. Reach out to the guy that gels with your personality. Loved about what you said is there's a plethora of tools. So we're not even telling you the only tools. We're telling you that these tools available that works. And so I just feel a grace to say we're so possible. Send one of these guys a DM and they will get into these assessments and start your journey on self-awareness and success versus significance. And there's more discussion Ian's leading, but since I'm not, I can't benefit from it in any way. I want to be full-throated support and say, listen, reach out to these guys and get these assessments done. And one of them are going to be doing mine already. So go ahead, Ian.
All right, so listen, guys. I feel led to put my money where my mouth is. If you're listening to this podcast today, if you're tapped in with us, first of all, thank you for joining us. I hope you're getting some value out of our conversation. And I want to invite you to join us as we move forward with Brothers in Influence. But I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If you reach out to either myself, Shantae Price, or Sherrod Ledet, I will personally cover the cost of your DISC assessment.
Wow.
Okay? The reason being, this podcast isn't about selling you anything. And we've talked this whole time about success versus significance. And I'm demonstrating my commitment. and I didn't tell the brothers that I was going to do this. I didn't tell the brothers I was going to do this. So if you reach out to either of the three of us, right? And Lorenzo said, listen, he said that connect with who you gel with, who you feel comfortable connecting with personality-wise. It don't have to be me. I will hand off the code, everything to one of the other brothers so that you can get the value from this process. That's how much I believe in it. That's how much I believe in them. And I'm serious. I want to add value, and that's where we're going to start.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
So I want to add to that. Since it's 4 of us, we're gonna do 4. We gonna do that because I think like I say, that thing it just, when I took it, I had already come a long way. I'll put it like this: I was just about to get my bachelor's, and then I took the disc, and I found out I had my master's. Put it like that. You know what I'm saying? So but the thing is, I was committed to it. I had heard about it. I learned about it. I talked to individuals about it, and I noticed the value. And so when I did take it, I took it with a clear mind, not saying it's not a test, it's an assessment. It's something to assess who you are. Mm-hmm. So if you're honest and you're able to sit down in one sitting and take it, might be 15 minutes, it can add value to your life and give you a new perspective of who you are, right? And help you to make better decisions. And I'll give you an example. Just recognizing, being able to recognize why I get into certain situations, right? Mm-hmm. And now that I'm aware of the why, now I have I can make a clearer decision on to react in the situation or to act, to react or act. So more often than not, now I'm acting because I'm making a conscious decision that, you know what, I know why I've been doing this, and now I can take control of me and say, no, we're not going to do that anymore, right? Take a different direction. So.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. You guys are seeing the solidarity. We all on one accord here.
Yep.
This will change somebody's life.
Yeah. And again, the thing I think that's also a value is that when you really know who you are, and at least start getting that awareness. And now, again, let me also put some clarity on this. If you get the opportunity to take this assessment, right, or when you get the opportunity to take this assessment, now it's not going to give you the direct answers, but it's going to give you the insight necessary to start that discovery process.
Yes.
Now, I want to be clear. Discovery process, right? So it's a process, right? One of the things that I do with my assessment, I look at it every day, right? I look at it every day. Why? Because it gives me insight. right? It gives me insight. It lets me see and know and understand again, because here's the reality. I'm not the same person I was yesterday that I am today. And I'm not going to be the same person I am tomorrow because of what happens today. So because of those changes, I have to stay relevant. So I got to be able to understand and see what's happening within my environments, how I'm making decisions, how I'm interacting with people, right? What are the standards, the protocols that are happening? How am I influencing? Right. So all those different components are critical. And here's what happens when you're more self-aware. You will find the right opportunities at the right time in the right way. Right. That's what happens. Right. The right opportunities at the right time in the right way. That's what happens when you get and start that process of self-awareness. Right. So
Wow.
my bad, Lorenzo.
No,
You good? Yeah.
I'm good. I'm blessed by this. I think that people will be blessed. I know that the conversation went. I still in the vein success and significance that this is a part that gets you there. But I feel like this is important, and it really is an opportunity to plug you guys. Like there's so much gems and knowledge, and I think the more our audience can understand who you are and the distinctions that you come and spend time listening to you all share information that'll shift people's lives. I've never done the disc assessment, I've done others, but these assessments and working with a coach is something that's going to shift your life. And so, and I want to encourage you to reach out to Ian, reach out to Sherrod, reach out to Sharte. Whenever you're seeing this, if you see it, maybe you don't need the assessment, but you know somebody who does. This, we're talking about success and significance today. This is what's going to help you move there. So we kind of park there for a second, and Ian's going to move us forward. It's back into drive, but guys, like I felt that was such a powerful moment, and to encourage y'all, brothers, and for everybody. Sometimes you don't know what you have, and sometimes the oil that you guys have is so strong and so powerful that we don't even realize it. So that's why sometimes y'all will find me jumping in like, slow that down. I need y'all to say that again. Because it's regular, it's second nature to y'all, right? It's regular to y'all, but for everyone it isn't. And so this is just gold.
I hear a S in his future, right? There's a S in there. Just in his conversation alone, there's a S.
Steady. Yeah, I'm pretty stable. Not really, but I am when the room and the space needs it. I'm excited to look into this. I got some dominance in me, but that's not my preferred place. This is interesting. But if someone needs to be dominant, I'm not hesitant to be dominant. And then I do move a lot with influence. I like to be compliant too, and this is why you want to do the assessment, because I could find aspects of my personality that fits all of these. So to get the information, right? I loved what Ian you said about, if I know I'm this way, then I know how I need to react to others. That helps me become more successful. If significance is about how I relate to the community, then I need to know how to put myself in the best position to relate to the community so I can achieve that significance. And you do that is by walking with the tribe, walking with the group, walking with the coach, which is having these kinds of to even say, yo, you know what? The next step in my development might be I need to take an assessment. I'm at a plateau. I'm stuck. I need to figure something out. Maybe the next thing for me right now, for you watching, getting the assessment done, having a conversation with one of these guys, whether you watch this now or later, and moving into that space. That's, if one person gets, I think we'll have a star in heaven for today.
Man,
So yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was to find some different way to pass it back to you, bro.
Hey,
Well, if we're coming on the end of this thing, man, I think it was a great a great conversation, right? Around again life, leadership, and community. And I think it's, when I think about success and significance, man, I really think the component here is all about just being able to bridge the gap, right, between the two, right? It's all about building bridges, right? So to success is the stepping stone to significance, but again, you still have to go through the process, right? And that again, you are the one that determines what success looks like for you, right? So we as individuals build success, right? But success is bridged through leadership to significance, right? So the gap between that is all about leadership. Now, one would say, well, what do you mean by that? I would say that leadership is not just about me leading other people or influence other people, because the other reality about it is, again, from a success standpoint, you got to be able to lead yourself too. So it's self-leadership.
Mm-hmm.
It's self-leadership, right? So success to significance is really all about just bridging that gap, right? That bridge, right, between the two.
Yep. Absolutely, man. What I like to say, again, this is Ian, your purpose coach. I like to say that self-leadership is the toughest leadership. That's where it all starts. If you really want to lead somebody else well, you got to learn how to lead yourself well.
Bruh.
If you have any questions about whether you can lead, should lead, start with leading yourself first.
Hey, you about to open up a whole nother conversation.
Listen. You can see that we can go all day long, right? Because this is coming from a real place. This is coming from down deep in us, right? Because we understand it. We have internalized this understanding, and it's affected every area of our life. So when we say that, we're not just playing. We're not making it up as we go along. We're not just trying to sound provocative or like we got something important to say. We're telling you our experience, and we know that it's a game changer. This affects how we live our lives. This affects how we parent. This affects how we are husbands to our wives, right? It's and the beautiful thing about it is bigger than us.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes our focus off of ourselves, so that we can really see what's going on in the world around us, and we can really be in position to make a difference. Again, if you're listening, this is the Brothers in Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value to Black men in the areas of life, leadership, and community. And before we close, I just want to say, listen, when we talk about adding value to Black men, we're talking about every Black man. We're talking about the next generation of kings, whether they are in elementary, middle school, high school. We talking about the OGs. We want to tap them in and really lean into the wisdom of the older generation. But either way, we want to add value. So when we talk about any of these tools, guess what? This specifically, we even have tools for your kids. We have tools for the young man in middle school who has no idea who he is and finds himself following along with the trends. Because of that, a disc assessment can change his life. And I'm saying that because of my personal experience, and I wish I had access to something or somebody who could help me figure out who I was and what my purpose was when I was that age, because it could have changed the game.
I'm just going to plug in as we're getting off this thing. It works, especially at that level, because I had the opportunity to give it to a brother that was I think he was transitioning from his junior year to his senior year, took him through the assessment, started having conversations with him. Amazing. And it just, I can't even echo what Ian just said. To be able to have that tool at such a paramount, a pivotal age, right? Because you're about to go into a whole nother mind shift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can go into that mind shift knowing who you are, or at least have the tools to start that journey at that age.
In this
Beautiful.
time, in this pandemic, in this COVID season, graduations aren't happening. The constructs are shifting. I would go so far as to say, even if folks have done the assessment, given the time that we're in, probably need to do it again or do something else, because the world has so shifted.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, as we close, I don't want to be like the black pastor who ends the sermon 5 or 6 times before we're done.
Well, it's 4:15, so we're on time.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel that.
So as we close, I just want each of us to just share at least one person who impacted your life. And I'm gonna start. Who impacted your life on this journey. I'm gonna start. Three people that have impacted my life on my success to significance journey. Lorenzo Chambers, Sherrod Leden, and Shantae Price.
Stole my thunder, man. Stole my thunder.
Follow the Brothers of Influence podcast, fellas. Ladies, gentlemen, young people, old. We love you guys and we thank you for tuning in. Before we close, I want my brothers to share who's impacted their lives. That'll be the curtain call.
Yeah, brother. Hey, we can't get that on the way back, man. That's a what?
Okay, listen.
Because it's so that.
Well, I'll go. I'll just say for me real quick, and we'll probably get more into this in the future, but I went to prison at a young age, and one of the teachers, man, she was a lovely lady. I wish I could find her right now, but she just poured into me, man. And she was like that with everybody, but you know, when somebody's like it with you, you think it's just you, right? But she was a genuine teacher, right? She wanted to teach you. She wanted you to ask questions. And so I really learned a lot for her. Her name was, I can't think of her first name, but Miss Stuber. I pulled out some of my old essays. I was learning how to write, you know, because I wasn't good at writing. And, you know, she would just encourage me and stuff like that. Another person is, I would have to say my father. You know, even though he wasn't in my life, I learned, being that I have a daughter now, right? I had to learn he taught me some things so I could be a better father. And then last was my mother who raised me. She taught me how to be compassionate and show compassion for people.
Man. All right. I think I got my three. I guess why my challenge is just because you got to put their name. And I know there's been a lot, right? So please, if anybody watches this knows me, no offense. But the three most impactful at this particular point, I'm definitely going to say my mom, right? My mom was definitely the like, I am who I am today because of my mother, right? Because again, she said, boy, if you don't do anything else, you better think. So mama, I'm thinking, right? So my mom, but then I would also have to go to a gentleman named Tory Woods. He was very pivotal in my ability to, again, identify my value and really see myself for who I was and what I had, right? Because I think sometimes we go through and we don't really know who we are or what we got until and sometimes we have to kind of hold on to the coattails or the beliefs of someone else before we get to that point ourselves. He was one of those people for me. And then the other person would be my pastor, Dr. Michael Robinson. He did a lot for me from the perspective of really showing me from a spiritual perspective, my role, my position, my job, my command as a father, a husband, right? And what that looks like spiritually, right? So, that one time made everybody quiet.
No, that was good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
So I would say I initially thought of three men, but I would be remiss if I did not mention my mother, Sharon. She raised me as a single mom, instilled everything that I know in me, and just a mother and her son. There's nothing you can do to move between that. So I wouldn't be anything or anywhere if it first wasn't for my mother. The list that I thought about as well as my grandfather, Reverend Herbert Daughtry. I am the sixth generation in my family in ministry, and we have a covenant with God that He has shared with us, and that is if we will serve with and for the people, that our lives will be blessed. And so he instilled service in me. He took me around, traveling with him around the country, even as recent as Nelson Mandela's funeral in South Africa, because of the work that he's done in the past. Marches and rallies and going to jail and just instilling a heart of service. The next person I would say is actually my father, Lorenzo Chambers. We didn't grow up with him in our household, my mother and father together, but in my development as a man, I recognize and realize it's important for us to have a relationship. And there are things that I've learned about myself through relationship with him. He's a great example. The conversations we're able to have, good and bad, to the clarity. I think it's important for Black men to be connected to male fatherly figures. The third person that I would say, or the fourth person that I would say, is Bishop E. Bernard Jordan, who's one of my mentors. He connected my wife and I. He's prophesied and ministered into my life. He helped me understand this gift of prophecy that I've had and how it operates in the world. And he's helped to expand my consciousness as it relates to prosperity, not only being material, but in all areas. And prophesied my family. So I'm to those folks, but for different perspectives and reasons, but for anchoring me as I continue to grow and move. It's a really powerful question. Thank you.
You threw 4 of them in there. He said 3.
Well, I had 3, right? The 3 were the 3 men because his brothers and influence, but I got to throw my mama in there if I ain't throw my mama.
You good. Hey, you know me. I got to be different.
I know.
Absolutely. It goes without saying, man. We got to shout out our moms. My mom happens to be the strongest, probably the most resilient person that I know. And she taught me and instilled in me a love for the things of God and understanding that even as a man, the relationship is personal and it's intimate. Matter of fact, when I was growing up, one of the things I always remembered about my mom was she would tell us about intimacy. That's not something that a young man is thinking about, but she just broke it down simply. She would say, "Into me you see." And when you have connection, when you have a personal connection with Jesus, he sees into you. When you press in and begin to see into him, he opens up your heart so that you can have the understanding, the revelation of who he is and what he's done in your life. And I have carried that with me all my 37 years. And so definitely want to shout out to mom. I would be remiss if I didn't follow suit for my brothers. Their example. Again, this is their influence on me. If I would be tripping if I didn't follow up and make sure to give mom a shout out. And so again, this is Brothers in Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value to Black men in the areas of life, leadership, and community. And per usual, this is part of our culture that we flex a specific muscle where we're not shying away from the love word. I love these brothers that are on this call with me today, on this episode with me today. And if you're watching, I love you too. We're here for you. We're here to add value. We are pursuing significance. We don't have it all figured out. We are on the journey, and we're just inviting you with us. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, Monday at 3:15, we'll be going live with episode 3 of the Brothers in Influence podcast.
Episode 2 just went down.
Be easy, people.